The ANC top six will hit the ground running as they will engage different communities in KwaZulu-Natal ahead of the January 8th and election manifesto launch later this week. President Cyril Ramaphosa will be meeting with different communities in Port Shepstone on the lower south coast. His deputy David Mabuza will be mobilizing voters in Newcastle in the midlands. Secretary General Ace Magashule will be in uPhongolo in northern KZN doing door-to-door campaigning. Our reporter Ayanda Mhlongo is there tracking the story for us. A very good morning to you, Ayanda. What's happening where you are right now?
Very good morning to you, Desiree, and good morning to our viewers. It's still quiet here. We're coming to you from Masinenge community. We're just a few kilometers outside the main town of Margate, where in about 20 minutes or so, the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, will be visiting this community here in Masinenge. I'm just going to move a little bit out of shot here, as you can see behind us, Desiree, and our viewers. This is a fairly new housing project, community. People moved in here quite recently from a nearby informal settlement, and so this will be President Ramaphosa's first stop today. He's got a very busy day here. He's going to be spending the entire day here in the area of the south coast, which falls under the ANC's lower south coast region. ANC members have, of course, been mobilizing for today's event, and just from the time we arrived here this morning, excitement from the community. Of course, others unfortunately saying it is the first day back at work today, so they would have wanted to see their president. However, they're having to go to work. But those that are here saying that they're quite excited that it'll be the first time that a leader of his caliber will be visiting this area. They've moved just recently, as I said, from an informal settlement, moving here into these houses, and so they're saying that there's a lot that they still want to tell and their president. Although the houses are done and completed, still some in terms of service delivery as well. They don't yet have electricity. Yes, they've got running water, but these are some of the concerns that they want to tell the president today. So a great deal of excitement. In fact, a lot of people moving walked past where we are to where the president will be arriving before he makes his way down here to this area, where he's going to be going to a few of the homes and speaking to the residents of Masinenge. He lives here in this housing project. He will then go to the nearby informal settlement, where again crowds are eagerly awaiting to see the president of the ANC. Of course, Desiree, as you said, a busy day today for ANC leaders who will be crisscrossing the province of KwaZulu-Natal, mobilizing for tomorrow, which is the ANC's 107th birthday. And this year around, the ANC changing things up a bit, in the sense that it's not going to be one stadium where the entire province, the entire country, as has been the case in the past couple of years when they've celebrated their birthday celebrations, where everybody will gather together. This time around, them deciding to hold celebrations in the different regions. The top six of the ANC will be deployed to the various regions, as well as the NEC, members of the ANC, and that is where they'll be holding the birthday celebrations. The president, of course, is going to be in the area of Ohlange tomorrow in Inanda. That is where he'll be gathered with the people of Inanda and other communities around Durban under the ANC's eThekwini region. So today they are mobilizing for tomorrow. Of course, NEC members will be coming down here tomorrow to celebrate the party's birthday. And as I said, across the province, but also, as we know, Des, as you said, that moving forward throughout the week, they will be mobilizing for the ANC's National Election Manifesto launch, will be taking place in Durban. And people here as well saying that they're very, very excited. Tomorrow they'll participate in the birthday celebrations, which are going to be held not far from where we are. And then, of course, they're saying that thereafter they're going to be mobilizing for the manifesto, which will be taking place protests in Durban. But we are going to be here at Desiree throughout the day waiting for the president to arrive. As I've said, in about 20 minutes or so, we expect him to make his way here. But we'll be here throughout the day, giving our viewers all the coverage and following the president as he visits the different communities here in the area of Margate.
Ayanda, the mobilization that you speak of is for the 107th celebration particularly, but one cannot take away the fact that it's an election year, and you just showed us beautiful footage of a housing development, brand new people walking into those spaces. The visit this afternoon is also aimed at finding people who can vote for the ANC this year. Have you been able to get a sense of the electorate, how they feel about the ANC in this 2019 election?
Absolutely, Des. This is one of the questions that we were asking some of the people that we were chatting to earlier on, that yes, tomorrow it's going to be more of a celebration, and you will then be able to find out from the leaders what their plans are, what their promise are to the electorate. What are your feelings about the upcoming elections? You know, other people saying that just in this housing project, Des, in fact saying that it took 10 years for these houses to be built, and they were living in an informal settlement for about 10 years, and they're saying at some point they had lost hope, and saying that, as I've said earlier, there's still some challenges here. You can see the roads, it's still gravel roads, has not yet been tarred. My colleague Tulani is just showing you a shot of just next door, just next to the houses that have been completed. These houses not yet completed. It's been over 10 years that people have been waiting. Those are still living in the informal settlement, waiting to move into these houses, and so a lot of unhappiness there, to say that it's been a very, very long time for people to be living in squalor, living in the conditions that they have. And in fact, is from what we find out, some of the community members were telling us that they actually forced themselves into these houses. They had not yet been allocated, and because they were tired of waiting, they decided then to move into these houses. And one of the things that they said was that it was because the houses had been completed, people were not allocated to them, and then they were vandalized. Criminals would be coming in, stealing doors and stealing windows, and the community then said it's a waste of public money. They don't understand why they've been waiting so long. They then moved themselves into these houses. At this moment, they still don't have electricity. Yes, they have water, but they're saying that they still definitely need to have electricity. And this is one of the concerns that they're going to be putting through to the president. So in terms of voting, others are saying, yes, they are going to be going out and vote. Others are saying, well, look at the conditions that we've been living under. We are still waiting to move into these houses. 12 years that we've been living in an informal settlement, seeing these houses and not getting updates as to why the projects have stalled, why they have not been able to move. So mixed reaction really and views really days on around whether or not people are going to go out and vote. But today, this will be the task of the president, to speak, to give them answers as to why these houses are still waiting and people have not moved in after so long. And of course, yeah, as I said, the people forcing themselves into these houses, they still don't have electricity. And so that is the task. And I think around the areas that the president is going to go to, he's going to face some tough questions from the community who are going to be saying, yes, you want us to come and vote. We have been participating in previous elections, but we still are living in terrible conditions. But we'll, of course, have to wait to see. But the community say here they are not going to shy away from putting those questions through to the president, and they want answers. And they're saying that hopefully by the time the elections happen, possibly in May, they hope that more and more of the community around here will have been able to move into into these houses. We will possibly likely move days from here to the informal settlement where the president will also be go, and there our viewers will get to see the conditions that the community is living under. Very, very bad conditions as we're passing our way here. Electricity cables on the ground, very dangerous for young children and for the community as well. So we'll be going to that informal settlement just to chat to the community there as well and hear some of their grievances. And as you said, what are their thoughts about the elections?
Especially with that area being an informal settlement. But Ayanda, let's move away from the community and to the ANC itself. Leading up to this story, especially at the beginning of our conversation, I listed some of the postings for the different ANC leaders throughout the province this morning. But reports leading up to this event were saying that the president is facing a pushback from some of his party members, especially those who are seen to be in the former president's camp. Is this a real story, or is this something we shouldn't even be having a conversation about?
Well, Desiree, the province of KwaZulu-Natal, as you know, is one that has been quite troublesome for the ANC in terms of the challenges that they've met in fighting and divisions here in the province. And you'd know that, and unfortunately, leading even to political killings. And there have been some regions where the ANC has battled to try and bring about peace and unity. There's still a lot of infighting in those regions. And I'm going to, for example, not here in the Lower South Coast, but again, here in the Lower South Coast. Maybe let me start here with the Lower South Coast. It was one of the regions that faced a number of challenges, the infighting. In fact, the leaders of this region were amongst those that came out very, very early and supported President Cyril Ramaphosa in his campaign for the presidency of the ANC. And of course, there were those that then supported Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. The region has had a number of challenges. As we speak, it is under a regional task team. They have not been able to hold a regional conference, and that task team is running this region and overseeing the running of this region. They've said that they're not going to hold the conferences, of course, until the elections. But another region now that has until recently really been a thorn on the side for the ANC has been that in Pietermaritzburg, the Moses Mabhida region. And it was up until on Friday, in fact, or Thursday, where the ANC was still meeting with members of the ANC or the leaders of the ANC in this province and the NEC deployees, still meeting with the disgruntled group in that region that was saying that it will not participate in these events, being the January 8th celebrations tomorrow and the manifesto. They were demanding a regional conference. Earlier on, the president was expected to go to that region, and the celebrations that he'll be now part of in Inanda were supposed to be held in Pietermaritzburg. But the ANC over the weekend telling us that it was a change. The venue, unfortunately, they were not able to secure a venue. It clashed with a PSL game, and instead the Secretary General Ace Magashule will be going to that region. But the ANC saying that it was not because of the instability that the president is no longer going to that region. In fact, they're saying that on the 10th, he will be visiting Moses Mabhida. So yes, there's certainly there has been some challenges here and there for the ANC, but they're now saying that they've worked through them, and there is no area in KwaZulu-Natal where neither the president or the other leaders of the top six and the NEC will not be able to go hold the celebrations or campaign. But we're just going to obviously be monitoring all these different areas. We'll be following the top leaders of the ANC to see how they are received in this province. Here in the Lower South Coast, the ANC has enjoyed a very strong support base here for many years. It was unlikely that there was going to be much resistance or some members not really wanting to be part of these celebrations days. The ANC has done very well. It's a very popular party here in the Lower South Coast. East. It runs the municipalities in this area. And so generally, aside from the infighting and the squabbles for positions, but on the whole, the members or the community here are in support of the ANC. It's done very, very well. In fact, in all the elections, this is one region of KwaZulu-Natal where the ANC has done very well and has a considerable support base.
Ayanda, certainly a lot to talk about, but we'll leave some of it for your later crossings. But thank you so much for that update. Ayanda Mhlongo there for us. And staying with the ANC's annual January 8th statement, SABC News earlier spoke to the party's